The Tale of the Unbothered Fox. In a bustling forest, there lived a wise and clever fox named Felix. Felix enjoyed his peaceful life, wandering through the woods, savoring the beauty of nature, and playing with his friends. However, not all the forest animals were as kind-hearted as Felix's friends. Some were jealous of his quick wit and calm demeanor. One day, while Felix was strolling by the river, a group of noisy monkeys began to mock him. They laughed and teased, trying to provoke Felix. Instead of reacting, Felix simply smiled and continued his walk, ignoring their taunts. Later, while searching for berries, Felix encountered a boastful peacock. The peacock strutted around, flaunting his feathers and bragging about his beauty. "Look at me, Felix! Aren't I magnificent?" the peacock boasted. Felix, unfazed, complimented the peacock and went on his way, focusing on his berry hunt. That evening, Felix's friend, a wise old owl named Oliver, noticed Felix's calm demeanor. "Felix, how do you stay so peaceful when others try to bring you down?" Oliver asked. Felix chuckled and shared his secret. "You see, Oliver, I've learned that not everyone's opinions matter. When the monkeys mocked me, I knew their words couldn't harm me. When the peacock boasted, I realized his pride had nothing to do with my worth. By focusing on what truly matters and ignoring negativity, I keep my peace." Oliver nodded in understanding. "Your wisdom is truly remarkable, Felix. It's important to focus on our own path and not let others' negativity affect us." From that day on, Felix's story spread throughout the forest, teaching all the animals the power of ignoring negativity and staying true to themselves. Felix continued to live happily, unbothered by others, and remained the wisest fox in the forest. In ancient Rome, Emperor Marcus Aurelius often wandered the streets disguised as a commoner. One day he encountered a young blacksmith named Lucius, who was struggling with his trade. "What's troubling you, young man?" Marcus asked. Lucius sighed, wiping sweat from his brow. "I can't seem to stay focused. I want to improve, but I get distracted and give up easily." Marcus smiled. "Let me tell you a story. Imagine a mighty oak tree. It stands tall and strong, not because it avoids the wind, but because it faces it head-on. Every gust makes it sturdier." Lucius looked puzzled. "What does that have to do with me?" Marcus continued. "Self-discipline is like the wind for the oak. It challenges us, but it also makes us stronger. You see, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you'll find strength." "How do I do that?" Lucius asked. "Start each day with purpose," Marcus said. "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, remind yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for? Focus on the present moment and embrace your duties." Lucius nodded thoughtfully. "But what if I fail or get discouraged?" "Failure is just another form of training," Marcus replied. "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every obstacle is an opportunity to practice self-discipline." Inspired, Lucius took the emperor's advice to heart. He began each day with a clear purpose, stayed mindful of his tasks, and saw every challenge as a chance to grow. Over time, he became a master blacksmith, respected by all in Rome. And so, through the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Lucius learned that true strength and success come from mastering oneself and embracing the challenges life presents, becoming like the mighty oak that stands tall against the wind. Once upon a time, in a bustling city, there lived a young woman named Emma. She was constantly stressed, trying to balance work, relationships, and personal goals. One day, while wandering through a quaint bookstore, she stumbled upon a book titled How to Be a Stoic by Massimo Pigliucci. Intrigued, she bought it and started reading. The book introduced her to the philosophy of Stoicism, an ancient Greek and Roman practice that taught resilience, mindfulness, and rational thinking. As Emma read, she learned 3 key principles that began to transform her life. First, she discovered the concept of asterisk dichotomy of control asterisk. Stoics believe that life is divided into 2 parts, things we can control and things we cannot. Emma realized that her constant worrying about others' opinions and unpredictable events was futile. She started focusing on what she could control: her actions, thoughts, and reactions. This shift brought a sense of peace and empowerment. One day at work, Emma faced a major setback. A project she had worked on for months was rejected by her boss. Instead of spiraling into anxiety and self-doubt, she remembered the Stoic principle. She couldn't control her boss's decision, but she could control her response. She calmly sought feedback and used it to improve her skills, rather than letting the rejection define her worth. The second principle Emma embraced was amor fati or love of fate. Stoics encourage accepting and loving whatever happens, seeing every event as part of a greater, rational whole. Emma started to view challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow. She stopped fighting against life's unpredictability and began to flow with it. One evening, Emma's plans to go out with friends fell through. Instead of feeling disappointed, she decided to embrace the change. She spent the night reading, reflecting, and even started a new hobby, painting. What initially seemed like a setback turned into a cherished, peaceful evening of self-discovery. The third principle that resonated with Emma was virtue as the highest good. Stoics believe that living a virtuous life, characterized by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, is the path to true happiness. Emma started to incorporate these virtues into her daily actions. She made efforts to be more just in her dealings with others, to act courageously in the face of fear, and to exercise self-control in moments of temptation. One day, Emma saw a colleague being unfairly criticized during a meeting. Remembering the Stoic virtue of justice, she spoke up, defending her colleague and suggesting a more constructive approach. This act of courage not only earned her respect, but also strengthened her commitment to living virtuously. As weeks turned into months, Emma's life began to change. She felt calmer, more focused, and more resilient. The teachings of Stoicism, as explained by Massimo Pigliucci, had given her a toolkit for navigating life's ups and downs with grace and rationality. Emma continued to study Stoicism, finding new depths of wisdom in its teachings. She realized that while she couldn't control everything that happened to her, she could control how she responded. And in that response, she found true freedom and inner peace. In the end, Emma's journey into Stoicism transformed her life, teaching her to embrace change, focus on what truly matters, and live in harmony with the world around her. She discovered that the key to a fulfilling life was not in controlling her circumstances, but in mastering her mind. The story of your life. Once upon a time, in a land not so different from your own, there lived a young person named Alex. Alex was an ordinary individual, just like you and me living in a bustling city. However, there was something extraordinary about Alex's life. It was a book. Yes, you read that correctly. Alex's life was written within the pages of a magical book called the Book of Life. From the moment Alex was born, every experience, every feeling, and every choice was recorded in the book's pages. The book wasn't just for show, it had a purpose. It was said that once a person had lived their life to the fullest and learned valuable lessons along the way, their story could inspire others. That's when the book's magic came into play. One bright morning, as the sun painted the sky with shades of orange and pink, Alex received a mysterious message. It was an invitation to visit the ancient library in the heart of the city, a place rumored to hold secrets of the universe. Curiosity piqued, Alex ventured to the library. There, Alex met the wise librarian, an elderly woman named Eliza, who welcomed them with a knowing smile. She revealed the true nature of the Book of Life, and explained that Alex's story had reached a point of transformation. Eliza guided Alex to a secluded room filled with countless shelves of similar books. They all contained life stories waiting to be shared. Eliza encouraged Alex to read their own book, a book filled with joy, sorrow, growth, and lessons learned. As Alex turned the pages, they were transported back in time, reliving every moment. They saw the hurdles they overcame, the friendships forged, and the dreams pursued. It was a journey through their own life, seen with newfound clarity. With tears in their eyes, Alex realized that their story had the potential to inspire and comfort others on their own life journeys. They closed the book with a sense of purpose and gratitude. From that day forward, Alex dedicated themselves to sharing their story and the wisdom they had gained. Their book became a beacon of hope and a source of guidance for countless others, reminding them that every life, no matter how ordinary, has a remarkable story to tell. And so, dear friend, your life is a story too, waiting to be written in the book of life. What wisdom will your story impart to the world? Once upon a time in the vibrant land of India, there lived a wise sage named Swami Vivekananda. He was known far and wide for his profound teachings, but today we're about to learn a special lesson from him. One sunny morning, a young boy named Raju approached Swami Vivekananda. He was puzzled about his future and asked the sage, "How can I do something great in life?" Swami Vivekananda, with a kind smile, replied, "My dear Raju, the only way to do great work is to love what you do." Raju was a bit baffled. "But Swamiji," he said, "I don't know what I love to do. How can I find that out?" The sage nodded and began to tell Raju a story. Once there was a young musician named Ravi. He was passionate about music. Every day he would play his flute by the river, and the birds and animals would gather around to listen. Ravi's music was full of love and joy. One day, a traveler passing by heard Ravi's music and was amazed by its beauty. He asked Ravi, "How did you become such a wonderful musician?" Ravi smiled and said, "I didn't become a musician to impress anyone. I play the flute because I love it. The music is in my heart, and I share it with the world because it brings me joy." Raju, Swami Vivekananda continued, just like Ravi, you must find what brings you joy and follow your heart. When you love what you do, the work becomes a source of happiness, and that's when greatness is born. Raju left Swami Vivekananda with a newfound sense of purpose. He realized that the key to doing great work was not just in finding a job, but in finding what he loved and turning it into his life's work. And so, he embarked on a journey to discover his passion, knowing that when he found it, he would be on the path to greatness, just as Swami Vivekananda had advised. And they all lived happily, striving to do great work by following their hearts and passions, just as the wise sage had taught them. Once upon a time, in a quirky town named Unique Land, there lived a boy named Benny. Now, Benny was a remarkable fellow, but he had a peculiar habit. He was always trying to be like someone else. One day, Benny came across a quote, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." It was written by the wise and witty Oscar Wilde. Benny was puzzled. Why would I want to be myself when I could be like someone cooler? He wondered. But the quote stuck in his mind like a catchy tune. He decided to pay a visit to a rather special place in Unique Land, the magical mirror shop. In this shop, you could see yourself as anyone you wanted to be. Benny stepped in front of a magical mirror and said, "Mirror, mirror, on the wall, show me someone cool and tall." Poof. Benny turned into a superhero with a cape and all. He thought, "This is fantastic. I'm just like my favorite comic book hero." He dashed around the town, stopping imaginary villains and saving pretend cities. But something felt odd. People didn't recognize him, and he missed his friends. So Benny went back to the mirror and wished to be a famous scientist. Suddenly, he was in a lab coat, surrounded by bubbling beakers. "I must be the smartest person in town," he thought. Yet again, he felt a sense of emptiness. Benny realized that being someone else, even someone impressive, wasn't as fun as being himself. He ran back to the mirror and said, "Mirror, mirror, I've learned my lesson. Show me Benny in all his essence." In an instant, Benny was himself again. He felt a warm glow inside. It was as if a missing piece of a puzzle had snapped into place. Benny understood Oscar Wilde's words now. He realized that being himself was the most extraordinary thing of all. He didn't need to be like someone else because he was unique, and that's what made him truly special. From that day on, Benny embraced his quirks, his silliness, and his wonderful uniqueness. And as for the mirror, it always showed his smiling face. for Benny had discovered the magic of being himself. Once upon a time, in a quaint village, there lived a storyteller named Robert Frost. He was known for his wise tales, and today he had a special lesson to share. One sunny day, a young girl named Lily asked Robert, "Sir, can you tell me what life is all about? It seems so complicated." Robert Frost smiled and said, "Of course, my dear Lily. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on." Lily tilted her head, a bit puzzled. "But Mr. Frost, life seems full of twists and turns, ups and downs. How can it be so simple?" The storyteller leaned in and began to weave a tale. Imagine you're walking through a beautiful forest. You see tall trees, colorful flowers, and a winding path ahead. As you walk, you might encounter obstacles like fallen branches or puddles in your way. Lily nodded, starting to understand. Robert continued, "Life is like that forest, my dear. It's a journey with its share of challenges and surprises. Sometimes you'll stumble and face difficulties, just like those fallen branches. But here's the secret. No matter what happens, life keeps moving forward, like that winding path." Lily's eyes lit up with realization. "So, even when things are tough, life doesn't stop?" Robert Frost nodded. "Exactly. It's about resilience and the courage to keep going. Just like in our forest, where you might find sunny clearings after a rainy stretch, in life, there are beautiful moments awaiting you." Lily smiled. "Thank you, Mr. Frost. I'll remember that life goes on no matter what." And from that day on, Lily carried Robert Frost's wisdom in her heart. She faced life's challenges with newfound strength, knowing that, like the winding path in the forest, life keeps moving forward, filled with surprises and beautiful moments along the way. And so, in the village, the storyteller's words continued to inspire many, reminding them that no matter what, life indeed goes on. Once upon a time in a small village, there lived a young boy named Timmy. Timmy loved playing all sorts of games, especially his favorite game of shooting basketballs. One sunny day, as he walked to the village park with his basketball in hand, he noticed a big basketball tournament poster. The winner would get a shiny golden trophy. Timmy's heart raced with excitement, but doubt crept in. He thought, "I've never played in a big tournament before. What if I miss all my shots?" As he hesitated by the park's entrance, an old man sitting on a nearby bench noticed Timmy's worry. The old man, whose name was Mr. Johnson, said, "Hey there, young fella. I see you're eyeing that tournament. Remember, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take." Timmy looked puzzled and asked, "What do you mean, Mr. Johnson?" With a twinkle in his eye, Mr. Johnson began to tell Timmy a story. You see, there was once a young hockey player named Wayne. He was really good, but he had a secret. He practiced a lot, and he never gave up. Timmy listened intently as Mr. Johnson continued. One day, Wayne missed a big shot in a crucial game, and everyone was disappointed. But instead of quitting, he learned from it. He realized that if he never took the shot, he'd never have a chance to score. So he kept taking shots, and he became one of the greatest players in the world. Timmy's eyes widened with understanding. He thanked Mr. Johnson and walked onto the basketball court with newfound confidence. He took every shot he could, and even though he missed a few, he made some too. When the tournament day arrived, Timmy was ready. He played his best, and even though he missed some shots, he didn't let it discourage him. In the end, he won the golden trophy. Timmy realized that Mr. Johnson was right. If you don't try, you'll never know what you can achieve. From that day on, Timmy practiced even harder and became an amazing basketball player, all because he remembered Wayne's and Mr. Johnson's wise words. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the constant hustle and bustle of life? Do you find it challenging to quiet the noise within your mind? Introducing mindfulness, a powerful practice that can unlock the serenity within you. By bringing your attention to the present moment, mindfulness allows you to fully experience life without judgment or attachment. Through focused breathing exercises, you can anchor yourself in the here and now, releasing worries of the past and anxieties about the future. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts as they arise, detaching ourselves from their power. Even the simplest of tasks can become transformative when performed with full awareness. By practicing mindfulness, you can find inner peace amidst the chaos, creating a positive ripple effect that extends to your relationships and overall well-being. Are you ready to unlock the serenity within? Embrace mindfulness and discover the transformative force it holds. Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery. Subscribe to our channel and continue exploring the power of mindfulness.
Days, the open-world survival video game, presents players with complex moral and philosophical dilemmas. Here are 10 philosophical lessons that can be gleaned from playing or observing Days. 1. Morality in a lawless world. Days forces players to make moral decisions in a lawless environment. It raises questions about how morality operates when there is no societal structure to enforce it. 2. Survival and self-interest. The game highlights the instinct for self-preservation and questions whether individuals will prioritize their own survival at the expense of others. 3. The state of nature. Days reflects on Thomas Hobbes' idea of the state of nature, where life is nasty, brutish, and short. It asks whether people naturally lean towards conflict and chaos in the absence of authority. 4. Social contract theory. The game prompts players to consider the concept of a social contract, questioning what rules and agreements should be established in a society to avoid the chaos seen in Days. 5. Trust and betrayal. Trust is a valuable but fragile commodity in the game. It illustrates how trust can be built and destroyed, sparking discussions about trust's philosophical foundations. 6. Moral relativism. Days often reveals moral relativism, as players' actions vary greatly based on their circumstances and perspectives, raising questions about the nature of moral truth. 7. Altruism versus egoism. The game encourages contemplation of altruism versus egoism. Do players act out of selflessness, or do they prioritize personal gain even when it harms others? 8. The trolley problem. In certain situations, players must make decisions akin to the trolley problem, where they must choose between two morally challenging options to save themselves or others. 9. Nature of property. The concept of property and ownership in Days can lead to discussions about property rights and their philosophical foundations. 10. The search for meaning. The harsh, survival-focused environment prompts philosophical musings on the meaning of life. What is the purpose of existence when reduced to the basics of survival? These philosophical lessons from Days highlight the complex moral and ethical considerations that arise in extreme situations and can provide valuable insights into human nature and societal structures.
Another day, another story. Once upon a time in ancient Athens, there lived a wise philosopher named Socrates. He was known for his deep thoughts and insightful teachings. One day, a young man named Alex approached Socrates, seeking guidance on how to live a meaningful life. Socrates greeted Alex with a warm smile and said, "To live a meaningful life, my young friend, one must embark on a journey of self-reflection." Intrigued, Alex asked Socrates how self-reflection could make life more meaningful. Socrates began to tell a captivating story. He spoke of a time when he visited the oracle of Delphi, a wise and mysterious seer. The oracle said, "Know thyself," urging Socrates to explore the depths of his own being. Socrates explained that self-reflection is like holding up a mirror to our souls. It allows us to delve into our thoughts, emotions, and actions. By taking the time to understand ourselves, we gain insight into our strengths, weaknesses, and desires. He went on to share an amusing tale about a young man named Timo. Timo was always seeking happiness outside himself, chasing material possessions and social approval. But he found that no matter how much he acquired, true fulfillment eluded him. Socrates paused for a moment, raising his finger, and said, "Timo's mistake was looking outside himself for meaning." The power of self-reflection reveals that true happiness lies within. Alex nodded, captivated by the story. He asked Socrates how he could begin this journey of self-reflection. Socrates smiled and advised him to set aside quiet moments each day for contemplation. He encouraged Alex to ask himself thought-provoking questions. What are my values? What brings me joy? How can I align my actions with my ideals? Socrates assured Alex that self-reflection would help him discover his true passions and purpose in life. By understanding himself, Alex would make wiser choices and lead a more meaningful existence. Inspired and grateful, Alex thanked Socrates for his wise words. He left with a newfound determination to embark on his own journey of self-reflection, ready to uncover the hidden treasures within his own soul. And so, the lesson from Socrates on the power of self-reflection is that by looking inward and understanding ourselves, we can find the key to living a truly meaningful and fulfilling life.